Hello once again. Well, we have got some rain that's moving through all areas as we head through the night tonight. But once that clears out of the way, we could actually have a couple of really rather pleasant days before we see thicker cloud try to bring some rain in as we head towards the middle of the week. So this is today's rain. It's going to move its way further eastwards, and then low pressure tries to come in from the north and west, but it doesn't really make much inroads until we get to around Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and that's we'll start to see that rain building once again in a couple of days' time. But back to the here and now, the heavy rain across the western side of Dumfries and Galloway. There's still a warning for that for a couple of hours yet. That all moves its way further eastward, so everywhere getting a bit of a soaking through the night tonight, on quite a brisk breeze as well. But that eases down by morning, and in fact most places will start off the day on rather a fresh and bright note. There could be a little bit of patchy mist and fog first thing there, but that will slowly clear in the sunshine. Now sunrise is at 7:08 in the morning and sunset is at 6:56 in the evening, so those nights just starting to get a little bit shorter. So through the day tomorrow, after a lovely start, plenty of early sunshine, there will be a few scattered showers developing and they'll just move through quite gently, but many places will stay dry all day and temperatures getting up to between 14 and 16 Celsius for the most part in the best of the sunshine. Another dry and potentially rather cold night Sunday night into Monday. We could see a touch of frost here and there, and again a little bit of patchy mist and fog first thing, but then the breeze starts to pick up from Monday onwards. I think generally a dry and quite bright day for most places on Monday, but the cloud a little thicker by Tuesday could just start bringing some rain in by then. Take care. Hello there, good evening. Well, we have got some wet weather on the way. It's moving in as we speak, so that's going to clear through overnight, and then after that actually looks pretty good for a couple of days before things potentially start to get windier again and we start to see some rain moving in. And it's going to happen quite slowly because the rain we've got at the moment is butting up against high pressure in Scandinavia, and although it will eventually clear its way eastwards, the next low pressure systems pretty much hit the same resistance, so it's a slow old process starting to get any significant rainfall moving in our way. But by around the middle of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, I think it does look like it's going to start sweeping on its way through and getting quite breezy by this point as well. And speaking of breezy, it certainly is a bit breezy out there at the moment, but it is going to be, as I say, a wet ride for a couple of hours through the night, and then by the end of the night most places will be clear and dry, and perhaps a little bit of residual mist and fog lingering here and there. So quite a chilly start to Sunday morning. Sunrise is just after 7 a.m. and just before 7 p.m. What a fantastic photo that is. So we're going to have a lovely start to the day. Any of that mist and fog starting to clear away quite quickly in the morning as the sun gets to work, and a really lovely day with plenty of sunny spells to come. However, there will be a few bits of cloud just bubbling up and could just give one or two showers here and there, but most places will stay dry and we'll see highs of up to 16 or 17 in the sunshine once again. Another potentially quite chilly night on Sunday night. Again, the risk of seeing some mist and fog to start things off first thing, but another lovely day, bright, a little bit more clouds starting to come through and a little bit more settled then as we head towards the middle part of the week. As I said, take care. Hello there, good evening. Well, we have got some rain on the way, but it won't last for too long. And then once that clears out of the way by the morning, we've potentially got a couple of nice days ahead to look forward to. So let's have a look at a little bit more detail. This area of rain that we've got coming in from the west at the moment is butting up against high pressure sitting across Scandinavia. So it's been a little bit slow to come through. Eventually it pushes its way through overnight, but then the next low pressure systems meet the same resistance. So it's going to be a slow old process getting these weather fronts across, and they might not reach us till Wednesday or perhaps even Thursday of this week. But all the while in between, not looking too bad. It's quite a breezy ride out there for the next couple of hours, blustery as that rain comes through, and it will give a bit of a soaking for a few hours, but then clears out of the way by the early hours of the morning, and most places starting off perhaps with a little bit of mist and fog first thing, but generally dry and bright, but rather chilly too. So a fresh start to the day. Sunrise is just after 7 in the morning and just before 7 p.m. in the evening. And on the whole, I think it's really quite a promising day. Again, as I said, we will have the early morning mist and fog here and there in the most prone spots as usual, but that clears out of the way to give really quite a pleasant day. Fair weather clouds bubbling up later on. There could be the odd shower, but I think just about everywhere will stay dry all day. Temperatures back up to 16, 17 or maybe 18 Celsius. And it's potentially another cold night on Sunday night. So rather a chilly start to Monday morning. Again, a bright start to the day with a bit more cloud moving in and turning that little bit more unsettled as we head to the middle of the week. Hello there, good evening. Well, we have got a little bit of rain on the way overnight tonight. Not a huge amount for us though. And then once that clears out of the way, dare I say it, it's going to be quite a pleasant couple of days ahead. What's going on though? Let's have a look at a little bit more detail. This is tonight's rain band. It's been moving in from the west, but it's butting up against high pressure in Scandinavia. And that's really helped to slow it down. But once it does clear out of the way and high pressure becomes a little bit more dominant for a time. So again, these next weather systems are finding it hard to push across against that high across continental Europe. Eventually, though, we will see the winds pick up and some cloud and rain slipping our way, but it might not be until Thursday we see any of that more significant rainfall. Back to the here and now, it has been a little blustery. We've got that thicker cloud and the rain moving through later on tonight, so a couple of hours of wet weather. I certainly don't think we're seeing the heaviest of that rain, but the cloud lingering across much of Lincolnshire, elsewhere under clearer skies, getting quite chilly by the early hours of the morning and perhaps a little bit of early mist and fog first thing as well. Sunrise is just before 7 in the morning and sunset is just before 7 in the evening. So once we get rid of any of that early mist and fog, it's actually going to be quite a pleasant day. Some really decent spells of sunshine, a lovely bright day, very, very different to today. And although the cloud will bubble up through the afternoon, there's the outside chance of 1 or 2 showers. But for the most part, I think it is going to be dry just about everywhere and temperatures back up to the mid to high teens. So another chilly night and a bright start to Monday with plenty more bright or sunny spells to come. Hello there, good evening. Well, we've had thicker cloud and some rain just waiting in the wings for us, so that rain clears through overnight tonight. And then potentially we've got a couple of brighter days ahead, a little bit more settled before we see the wind pick up and some wet weather come back to us later on in the week. So let's take a closer look at the detail. This is today's cloud and rain working its way eastwards, but butting up across high pressure in Scandinavia. And so when the next low pressure systems start to come in, they meet the same resistance. So again, it's going to be a slow old process before we eventually start to see the cloud and rain push its way in towards us. It'll probably start to come through around about Wednesday, perhaps into Thursday. But back to the here and now, the heavy rain is clearing across the Isle of Man when we have had that weather warning in place. Elsewhere, by the end of the night, it looks pretty dry and clear for many areas, but there could be a little bit of residual mist and fog just around first thing in the morning. A little cool here and there too, so a chilly-ish start to the day. Sunrise is at 7:05 and sunset is at 6:54 in the evening, and it looks as though Rio's in for another pretty good day in the garden because we're going to see some good spells of sunshine through the day, 1 or 2 scattered showers here and there, but temperatures lifting in a light breeze up to around 15 to 17 Celsius by the time we get to the afternoon. Now it does look as though it's going to be rather a chilly night again on Sunday night, perhaps even more so. So under clear skies, it is going to be a chilly one. There could be a touch of local frost here and there, and also a little bit of mist and murk first thing in the morning, but generally a bright and dry day with some clouds starting to thicken up and a bit more clouds starting to bring some rain towards the middle of the week.